there. Um, so if like I said, the worst is over, and so I'm hoping, I'm getting my father settled in again, and then hopefully I can take off to spend some time with my family. So I believe is Malcolm is here with us as well.
Yes,
Okay,
hi.
I think Mr. Okay,
Hello, everybody. Hello,
okay,
Ramin,
yes,
Gautam,
hello,
Patrick.
gentlemen.
Hi, Malcolm.
Hi.
Hello, good to see you again. So, gentlemen, the meeting is live right now because we're going through YouTube. So uh, we have to, until we start officially, we are being recorded right now. So I thought, so it's very, I just wanted
We
to
can't.
very quickly, we would we propose that because as you can see, I'm barely have any voice left. So I would just do an introduction of you three gentlemen, and then we would hand over to Gautam, who would give us his past, the thinking that went into setting up the Hall of Fame, how it was structured, and how it's been built up, and how it's developed and evolved until today. Then we would ask Mr. Relay to give his perspective from somebody as the former and his views on it and how he sees it developing for the future. Forrest, who has joined us from outside of FIVA as a judge, and this year he was very active in the judging, and he also attended the Sir Michael Kaduri ceremony this year, and to provide his perspectives as somebody maybe who has just joined and is now active in the judging and has taken part in the ceremonies, to give us his perspectives as well. And then we would go to the audience for the Q&A. So I think that's how we lead. Because I have very little voice left, I'm just coming out of a very bad virus. I would ask Alize and Jean Mario to basically take a more active role in the moderation today, and I'll try to assist as much as possible. So, because
For the future, for the next one, maybe you should think of a, voiceless chat room, maybe, where you just do with sign language. The entire
and
discussion and conversation could be in
well, we
sign
can even
language.
delete the room. We can even delete the word chat and just call it the room. So
Yeah,
you know,
exactly, exactly. Why are we bothering with
more
chatting so
innovations
much?
from Gotham. Yes, yes. Okay.
All right.
So okay. So I think hopefully it's clear how we will proceed. Do Aliza and Jean Mario have any points that they'd like to raise? Uh,
No, I mean, all fine, all set.
Yeah,
yes.
true.
Okay. And Malcolm, do you know Jean Mario and Alize?
I met Jamario, of course,
Oh,
more
yes, in
than once.
Mexico.
Alize, I think, is the first time we meet.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's our communications, she's the FIVA communications partner. She
Fantastic.
works directly with FIVA and in moving the communications forward. And we're very lucky to have her. And she's also always an active member of the chat room as well. So, and so I'm just thinking, and I think, and you've probably, and I know you've met Patrick as well, I believe, right? In London? Yes. Okay. Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 4 minutes to countdown.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Are you
So
in Paris, Gautam?
Sorry, you said something,
Yeah.
Elise?
Are you in Paris, Gotham?
No, I'm in the Sudwest,
Okay.
in the Southwest, near Dax.
Mm.
Okay.
Maybe we can start let people in to say hello.
Okay, so 3 minutes to countdown. Should we start letting people in?
Yeah, maybe to say hi before to start.
Do you have people waiting to be let in right now, Aliza?
Yes.
Yeah, there's people waiting.
Okay.
Okay. So now, okay.
So, Elise, you're in Paris still, or Angoulême,
Yeah, Angoulême.
or Mexico?
I wish. No, I'm in Angoulême.
Nice.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Laurent.
Salut, Laurent.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
All right.
I think we have Daniel Culver from now Arizona. Before Colorado, he's a good friend and he's a restorer.
Excellent.
Okay. Dario, who?
Daniel Culver.
Oh, Daniel.
Yeah,
Right.
Daniel.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Hello, Jan. Hello, Ersi.
Okay. What are you drinking,
Okay.
Patrick?
Segnala il cofano aperto dietro, eh. Probabilmente l'ho aperto, sì.
Roberto.
So, Aliza, it's
Fine.
now 6 p.m. Can we officially open the meeting now?
Of course.
Okay. So, and welcome everybody to the chat room. We're very pleased today to discuss the Heritage Hall of Fame of FIVA, past, present, and future. And we're very honored that we have three very special guests today, which I'd like to introduce. First of all, Gautam Sen, who you will see, who is the former Vice President for Communications of FIVA. And if you want to see the impact that he's had, this chat room and the Heritage Hall of Fame are both the brainchild of his work at FIVA. And when he took over the communications, he started from zero, and he built up the platform that we have today. And two of his very unique innovations, the chat room and the Hall of Fame, we owe to him. So we're very honored to have got him. We also have Mr. Patrick Rollet, former two-term president of FIVA, who I can say without a doubt during his tenure, he absolutely revitalized FIVA. And we have him to thank for the wonderful legacy that he's left us with the excellent work that we did. And we're very, very proud to have had him as our president. So, and we're very honored to have him with us tonight as part of, where he's serving as a judge on the Heritage Hall of Fame. And we really look forward to sharing our perspectives with him. Lastly, I'd like to introduce our very special guest, Mr. Malcolm Forrest. I really don't know where to start. He is a singer, a composer, a filmmaker, and an international expert and collector for Isotta Fraschini. And just his automotive history, I think, would be a chat room onto itself. But I would say that, as a musician, he has over 40 albums. And on top of that, he is an advocate for UNESCO and environmental protection. And he is now part of the panel of judges for the Heritage Hall of Fame. And we would be very, very pleased to receive his viewpoints and his inputs as a judge. And I think it'll be very fascinating to listen to him. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us as our guests. We're very, very honored to have you. And if everybody allows, I would like to start handing over with Gautam and ask him how the thinking and the structuring went into the Hall of Fame, and how he developed it, how he came up with the idea, to give us the history and also his perspective on where we can take it, because we've had a fantastic development the last 4 years, and how he sees the future as well. So Gautam, may I ask you to start?
Thank you very much, Ramin. Thanks so much for all the compliments and all the lies. Let me clarify a few of them. Well, not really, not that way. Just that I should first say that the chat room idea is not just mine, it's very much Alize's, as much as it is we kind of developed the idea together. Alize was wanted, after she had got on board, she wanted to have something which was more interactive, and that concept was developed jointly very much. And Alize, I think the name chat room is what I came up with. That's about my only contribution. Alize had some doubts about the usage of these words because they don't necessarily go down that well in French. Anyway, that's so. Let's be saying that credit to Alize for chat room very much so. On the other side, as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned, it's an idea that had been proposed at the time when Mr. Rollet was the president of FIVA. I think a combination of reasons. At that point of time, maybe things were a bit too early. There was also the fact that we had limited budget, and the fact also that we had so many other aspects of things to do by the Hall of Fame idea, though discussed, and at that point of time, it took a while for it to actually happen. It's nothing original. Let's be honest. Hall of Fame exists there is Automotive Hall of Fame at Detroit. There's another Automotive Hall of Fame in Geneva. There are various halls of fame for rock musicians, from Mr. Jimi Hendrix, one of my heroes, to just about Giorgio to Giugiaro. They're in different halls of fame. So it's nothing that special. It's just that FIVA, despite the fact it has been around for now almost 60 years, 59 years, didn't have many such concepts. Maybe to say that the Hall of Fame is just one of several other things we ought still to be doing. And we are, I think, in the process of still developing a lot of other ideas and concepts. The Hall of Fame idea, as I said, was discussed, and then it was green signaled about 5-6 years ago. And then we started putting things together by first imagining what could be the jury. The thinking simply was that we should have as many people as is possible who have had nothing to do with FIVA and who are otherwise very prominent or are well known in their respective field. There is some automotive connection, yet the fact that they are not necessarily members of their own respective ANFs or their respective bodies, to keep that independence. And as you know, we also decided on this magic number of 9. I wouldn't know why. Well, it was like not to have more than 10, not to go into double digit. Let's stay with single digit in terms of the number of the jury members, as well as the number of people that we would be inducting every year. First year, we inducted many more, 14 people, in fact, initially. Then we realized it was too much. And then subsequent years, we limit to essentially 9 people to be inducted. 6 of them who are still very much with us and alive, 3 who are not no more with us. In terms of the jury member, again, we had our thinking was again to have them from across the globe. So as you see, it kind of spans continent. We have Mr. Forrest, Malcolm Forrest is from Brazil. Before that, we had Alberto Lenz, who is from Mexico. So from that part of the Americas. We have had, Mr. McKeel Haggerty from North America for the last few years. Before that, there was Jay Leno also, and similarly Nick Mason from the UK. In fact, I would say Europe is represented much more than the rest of the other continents, which unfortunately is the reality of FIVA, which also is a factor that we ought to look at kind of changing or evolving over the years. We have Elise Solomon. Ellie is with us, if I'm not mistaken, from Singapore. Nawaz Bhatena from India, Shiro Nakamura from Japan. And that's how we had the idea of having a very large, jury members who are kind of spread across, with the idea that they would all kind of be fairly neutral when choosing the nominations put in by all our member countries. The idea took off quite well. I must say, first year itself, most of the members, there were more than 30 nominations. And I think the note that we had put out was quite was self-explanatory. We did need to, let's say, interact with a few of the member countries and explain the kind of people we're looking for or the kind of people they could consider nominating. There was a bit of back and forth, but it worked very well. We have, to tell you the truth, all our members, all 80 and more of our countries which are members of FIVA, I think are as intelligent as anybody else and as well aware and as much into the automotive, let's say, situation or scenario than any other country. So we had some very good nominations. I think Madam Pakniat, who is also, I can see, is here today. She was a brilliant idea, brilliant nomination from Iran. No thanks to Ramin. And that's the reason why we had, I think, a very nice event to induct her in the Hall of Fame in Greece at Athens. Similarly, we have done that with the different let's say, nominees, which has been interesting because the event that has been associated with the induction has always been very different from each other. And I think we have had some extremely private and small events in certain circumstances, as well as rather large events. The one in India last year of Mr. Pranlal Bhogilal at his residence. He is no more, but his daughter and son-in-law put together a superb, let's say, evening soiree of about 250 invitees, and which hit the newspapers. India's leading newspaper, Times of India, carried a half-page news item on that. So what it's done is that our Hall of Fame has been extremely successful in certain countries. In fact, if at all, I would say it's been most successful as a communication tool in the lesser countries, in the so-called smaller countries, in the so-called emerging countries versus the larger countries, because I think when someone like, I would say someone like Michel Mouton gets another trophy in France, it hardly gets noticed. Whereas when Madame Pakniat gets her induction, she gets recognized in Iran, it's front paper, it's newspaper front page news, actually. So this way, I think the concept has been quite, I do believe, has been fairly successful in really promoting, I would say, not just the FIVA name, but what FIVA stands for in the lesser countries in a way, and has had quite a bit of success. I must say that at the same time, each and every member of FIVA they have not managed to embrace the concept completely. There are a few I would say, important countries that don't seem to do very much about it or kind of be part of it. But most of our members, I think, are very much involved with it. That's all I could like to say, and I think I would suggest I would pass on the baton to Patrick, who has been a part of the jury since we started, and maybe he has a different point of view on this.
So, Mr. Rolade, may we ask that you give your inputs?
Well, hello to everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm really happy to see some faces I love to see. Hello, hello Ed, hello Malcolm, hello Ellie, and many others. Well, it's been a privilege for me to be a member of the jury that Gautam set up a few years back. It's really formidable personalities, and really, yes, I'm happy and proud. Now, I'll make a little confidence. When I was in charge of FIVA, indeed, Gautam was around, and he nagged me, there's no other word, to set up this Hall of Fame. And I said to Gautam, yes, that's a very good idea, but, you know, there was always a but. There was difficulty with some key ANF, or there was a lack of revenues from some professional, or this or that. I think, never contested the concept, but I thought it was not the time to launch it. But Gautam is like a real Breton. He is very stubborn, and he got his way, and I'm glad he did. So well done, Gautam, and well done, Ramin, to carry on the good work, and well done, Alizé, as well, to help with important aspects. So if I am totally in favor of Hall of Fame, I'm really a great fan now, is when I see the impact it has. You mentioned Brazil, you mentioned Mexico. Unfortunately, I could not attend the ceremonies in those countries, but I heard about it and saw about it with modern means of communication. As to important ANFs, like, for instance, Italy or France or Britain, I've been attending ceremonies, and I was absolutely struck by the impact it has, maybe not on the everyday collector, maybe it's not spread enough, but it had a great impact on the sort of important people in those countries. I mean, the shows put up by ASI in Italy, in Torino, or in Bologna, for instance, everybody who counted was there, you know, just to attend the presentation to whoever it was, Marcello Gandini or Ercole Spada or Mr. Dallara. Similarly, in France, the ceremony for Michel Mouton or Jean Todt was done at Retromobile. Okay, it was on the ANF stand, the French Federation, but you can't imagine the pressure we had, because I shared the organization, the pressure we had from loads of people to be there. You know, it was the place to be, to attend the ceremony with these two key people. So either it's popular, and it could be made even more so. Maybe there would be some events where a lot of people are attending, where you could make the presentation. Retromobile is a good idea, but it's only limited to a stand. I don't know. I didn't think about it, but to have maximum exposure, I don't know. It depends on the country, but Goodwood or Le Mans Classic or whatever, I don't know. But anyway, I'm very pleased of the impact it has, at least in Europe, on people who are influential in our movement, and I think it's a very good thing. So I stop there for the moment because I'm sure Malcolm has lots of things to say. And welcome to the jury, Malcolm.
Yes. So, Mr. Forrest, may we ask you to give your inputs, please?
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you very much for the opportunity of getting together again, and especially on this very interesting subject, the Hall of Fame. When Gautam first told me about it, he was saying, it's not much work, it's just a meeting here and there, and it's not going to take you much time, as if it would be maybe a burden. But in fact, it has turned out to be a very pleasurable and a very interesting and very important venue. I think Patrick touched on some of the points, like the impact that this will have. And then we look at the broader picture. We're talking about voting for excellence, which is always something good, no matter what field we're in, and the promotion of preservation. I remember in our last meeting in Turin that we were thinking about those people that have done something that has helped preserve the memory of cars, the memory of families, the memory of the 20th century. Who knows what will happen in the 22nd century, right? So I think it's just a very good idea. I'm very glad to be on. It's history being unveiled and protected. And if we look at our greater, members that have done magnificent things in their lifespan, we're just, looking up at them and saying, "This, you are our reference. You are a benchmark for all this activity of card collecting." I call it antique mobilism. It's a word that I coined many years ago when I had the first South American, Brazilian, of course, magazine, and we had a little space to say the automobile fan or automobile collector. So I coined this antique mobilism idea, antique mobilist. Anyway, and that caught on in Brazil. So I think it's a very important and enjoyable venue, and I congratulate every one of you who have contributed in one way or another, and I look forward to more of this good thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ramin. Then we can maybe ask the people joining us today from different regions. By the way, if you want to say from where do you come from, it would be very nice in the conversation. I know that the first question is always the difficult one, but please, someone go ahead and ask your question if you have one.
Well, let me break the ice then. My name is Jos Teuns. I'm part of the FIVA organization as well. I know within the FIVA we are limited to a number of people we can take into the Hall of Fame, and we obviously we aim for the top. But there are so many people who've been detrimental in the car history and motorcycle history, etc. Wouldn't there be place for a honorable recommendation or something like that? I mean, there are so many people who are just not as visible in the industry, but have added so much to what we do today. Would that be an idea to have an honorable recommendation or whatever nice thing we could dream of in order to honor those people that might have been invisible for a long time, but played a significant role in the industry?
Gautam, please.
If I may answer, Jos, I think we have discussed this before, and and we do recognize that there has to be probably a second level just below that of the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame is now a bit of a, let's say, more of an exclusive pantheon or wherever, where people over the years will probably aspire to and will start and keep getting added. But there could be many others who probably will never make it to the Hall of Fame, but deserve to be recognized in some ways. So I think the idea, the concept of having a section called Motoring Heroes and Heroines probably could be another factor, who are people who will never quite make it to the Hall of Fame, but or could one day make it to the Hall of Fame, but they get elected with the Motoring Heroes or Motoring Heroine kind of level. And that could be another thing, to not to make a big ceremony of it as much as just have them there, so that's sort of a thing. So that could be an idea like that could be thought of.
Well, this is
Amongst
Ed. I
others.
think the Hall of Fame is a very good idea, and I'm certainly in favor of as many countries being involved as possible. I just wish the United States was a DNF, and also Canada, the National Association of Canadian Car Clubs. They're both quite active, but unfortunately the powers that be haven't seen fit to be a DNF. It would be nice if that changed. But at this point, I'm retired from everything, as most of you know, but I follow with interest what happens, and I talk to these people. But if anybody has any suggestions regarding the United States and Canada, I would be interested in them, and I would pass that along.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone to Malcolm, please? Yeah.
You're muted, Malcolm.
Yeah, your mic is off.
Okay, sorry. Just commenting on what Gautam brought up. The Nobel Prize, for instance, and perhaps others, they do have a level of nomination. To be nominated to the Nobel, there's a lot of prerequisites, including the party that does nominate a person for the Nobel. So what perhaps could be an idea is to issue a certificate to those who have been nominated and did not, have enough votes to be part of the Heritage Hall of Fame. Just a certificate, that would be like a diploma. That would be something that of recognition, perhaps.
Thank
I
you.
certainly like that idea. It's I'm as I mentioned, I'm part of the FIVA board. It's a low cost thing, but being nominated is something that is important also. Today, the analogy with Nobel Prize is maybe questionable. I heard some people in the US are nominated now for the Nobel Prize for things they might have done or might not have done. But let's politics out of this discussion. I think that's a good suggestion. You've been nominated for Hall of Fame, and you just didn't make the cut. And I think that's still something as a point of recognition.
To that, I may add also the fact that we have been kind of, I would say, unofficially encouraging the ANFs of the countries to renominate the people who didn't make it the first time.
Yep.
And so the second or the third time around, some people have made it, because the choice is quite a bit. I mean, more than 30, 35, 40 nominations come in, and we have only 9 places. And some of them are as worthy, if not more worthy, than the others. It's just that there's also a tendency for the jury to try and distribute, not to concentrate with certain countries and all that. And in the process, some very good candidates get missed out the first time around, but probably the same people renominated in the second round or by the third round make it. So in a sense, we keep telling, and I think we should be communicated to everybody, is that don't be discouraged with the nominations that you made. Please renominate whoever you think is worthy. the next year or the year after again.
May I expand my my previous question a little bit? I think, most people in the Hall of Fame have reached a certain age where they have proven what they've done. I think there are also a lot of young people around there that might make it one day in the Hall of Fame. Could there be a place for a sort of an encouragement title? Somebody who's working on a nice project. I'm just thinking aloud. There is two brothers in Holland who are, and I know that it might be like cursing in the church, but they are recreating historic vehicles, historic styling. But they also do a lot of restoration work. And that might not be on the scale of Mr. Suzuki or Mr. Honda, but they actually add to the movement. Would there be place for an encouragement of younger people to say, okay, you're just too young, you haven't established a factory yet, or a production line, or 2027 stunning designs, but we see potential in you. Malcolm, how do you think about it? I see you're not, but I mean, making a jury for that must be a horrendous job. It's going to be your full-time job from now on, but
Yeah. I like the idea, but it's adding work, and perhaps we can do this in time, I would say, because of limited resources, but it's encouraging, or to have a group, form a group with the younger generations. I've seen in Brazil, second generations really flourish in the art collection. Some of the sons and daughters, they love it so much they learn about the older cars, because we have the problem of time passage. Time's flowing by, and the grand classics of the past are no longer of interest to many people. And, they're very influenced by the media, as always, with car racing and what's fashionable. This has always been the case, luxury cars, fashionable cars, faster cars, design has always been things of appeal. But if we must promote the younger generations for the memories not to be dissolved in the future.
Okay.
I can see that Tito joined us in the meantime. Just welcome, Tito.
Yeah, thanks.
You want to say a word, Tito, right now or later?
Well, I mean, my role in this chat room mostly is that I listen, because I like to listen what people say, and it should not be kind of a discussion between jury members. I happen to be a jury member, as you know, and I see some other familiar faces from that honorable platform forum. So of course I have some opinions. So yeah, when it's about young people, of course we want to encourage them, and but still I think we can encourage them as well by the fact that we in some cases give an award to, let's say, the people by whom I think people can be inspired. So that often are more elderly people, but I think to look at people who have to tell a story, and that are able as well to transfer that story to younger people, I think that's also, what we are looking at. So.
Thank you, Tito. I can see Patrick Rollet. I think you have something to say.
Yes, hello, Tito. It was just a remark, a thought about some difficulties of being a judge. Hall of Fame, as I said before, in my opinion, has the great advantage of giving FIVA a good exposure. Some years back, especially when I went to America the first time at Pebble Beach, representing FIVA, everybody said, FIVA who? What on earth is that? I think we have improved a little bit thanks to Hall of Fame and other means of communication, but still, bouncing on your remark, young people or people coming from countries we don't know very well may have less of a chance than people who are world figure. For instance, last year we had Jean Todt. I take this example because is a world figure. I mean, everyone in the general public heard about him. But when you think twice, and that's a difficulty for a judge of Hall of Fame of historic vehicle, what is the actual contribution of Jean Todt to historic vehicles? Well, he's got a collection of interesting historic cars, and he's done something that's obvious, but his main contribution to the automobile world is not totally historic. Conversely, you have people hidden somewhere in a country you don't know well, who does a lot for the historic community, but it's very difficult to make it known to us judges. I'm very glad when, for instance, that lady whose name I forgot got the Hall of Fame recognition from Iran. Personally, I never heard of that person when I was given a file, but thanks to our discussions and everything, we managed to recognize her. But there are many people in remote countries who do a lot precisely for the historic community, historic vehicle community, who may have less chances than world figures. Maybe also because, and that's the richness of it, but maybe a drawback, our judge panel is from many different countries. It's an advantage, but it gives us to think twice. Just a few remarks.
Patrick, just maybe I should let you know and let everybody know that Madam Shahzad Patniat is listening to you at the moment. She is with us in this Zoom meeting.
So I'm doubly sorry to have forgotten her name, and good to see you. Good to hear you with us.
Okay, anyone else with a question maybe from the audience?
I would like to give an example, if I may. There is a guy here in the Netherlands, and I'm Dutch, but I try not to be biased. Let me be careful there. I try not to be biased. Who's called Classic Mike. He's working with young people who have a disability, either physically or mentally, restoring classic cars. I think he deserves some kind of recognition because it's a hell of a job. I mean, restoring a classic vehicle in itself is a hell of a job. But working at the same time with kids who have, some difficulties in what form, and being able to motivate these people and give them some recognition. And maybe we would have to think about something else apart from Hall of Fame. But obviously, it all depends on the file that the local member, the local ANF, is presenting the jury. I mean, if they come up with a 6-sentence paragraph, I can't blame the judges for selecting somebody that has his achievements presented in a whole book with pictures and what have you. I know it's a hell of a job, and Malcolm, once again, I realize what I suggested now is going to turn this into a daytime job. I'm sorry.
Actually, it's an interesting example, Jos. I learned just yesterday that Classic Mike gets a very important visit soon, because the Dutch royal couple is also going to pay them a visit in early September, so just to give to show indeed how much their activities are appreciated. But that's just a side
He
mark.
is most deserving. Very
Well,
happy to hear this.
maybe we can skip him for a year then. Now he has the king and the queen, so we can skip him for a year.
Indeed,
Okay.
Okay. But I believe indeed it's important to look at people that really contribute to historic vehicle, this historic vehicle world. Sometimes we celebrate all kind of motorsports heroes, and of course they're very known and they are very famous, and yeah, they did an amazing job, but yeah, they have not much to do with our historic vehicle movement. So I think we have to be maybe more critical on that aspect as well. Thank you.
Please, Roger, I can see you. I can see
Yeah,
you.
I was just thinking about what Patrick said and what Tito just said there. It's easy to lionize the motorsport heroes that we have, but maybe we need the category should be something like a local hero. It doesn't have to be someone who couldn't get didn't quite make the Hall of Fame. That's but it's someone who's doing something for a particular region or area. It could be put forward and even not have to go to the same judges, but to some like a um, some other awards, where they have a person of the year, then a young person of the year, and a local hero type arrangement. It could be done maybe through the ANFs rather than going to the judges.
Gotham, maybe you can take this and react. You have any?
Hello,
Oh yeah, okay.
everybody. I'm Hutan Arefi from Iran. I want to add that it is, in my opinion, very important that somehow we can collect information from the countries that are not well known as countries, as automotive countries, countries that are famous in automotive history or automotive classic history. But there are people in those countries that doing big works on automobile history or restoration or somehow connected to automobiles. But there is a small connection with that country to collect the information. For example, from East Asian countries or from Russia or even African countries. There are most people there that working on automobile history, working on classic cars, working on documentations, everything. I think we should have we should make some connection with those countries to collect information. Without information, we don't know who is who works on what.
Thank you, Utan. I hope I pronounced well your name. I'm sorry if I didn't. Maybe someone like Malcolm from the jury. Can you give us the approach you have in the process you received, how it works, how you receive the information about the people? Maybe we could understand better this way.
Sorry, Alice, are you asking me?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a labor of love. We have some data on each runner-up, each candidate, and weighing what is said there, and then exchanging ideas with the other judges, and some, investigation online, and using your best criteria, trying to find out the ones that did the best to the world of the classic cars or the auto collection, and those that have done the best things for people in general. Because when we talk about automobiles, we're talking about people, family, tradition, memories, fun. I always say that car collecting and car exhibitions are the art of bringing smiles to people's faces. Now, I remember driving through the Pebble Beach Carmel run, and all these people in the streets cheering and looking at who's coming next, and all they're just smiling, they're so happy. And that's the benefit, one of the best things that car collecting does, and friendship. So all of these factors have to be weighed when you select a person and you vote for this person. And I'd like to comment also still on the matter of the Hall of Fame award or induction. We're in the beginning, actually. I have in my life had a lot of experience with the Academy Awards in the broadcast done to Brazil. I've done 7 live broadcasts translating live the Academy Awards, the Oscars, and for 20 years, Miss Universe. And so it's always contests. It's always, a matter of selection, and some people are left off, unfortunately, and this and that. But I think the car world is so attractive. The car history, we're into a world of beauty, of things that make people excited and emotional and remembering. So there's a lot of room for our Hall of Fame to become a show, a TV or media show, showing the cars and the people involved in what they've done and the awards given. So there's a lot of the future is bright for us, let's say. There's a huge amount of work, and we have to also know how deep and how far we want to go with this. But I think everything that has been said today makes a lot of sense to me. And I think some of these things in time we might be able to put in practice. Thank you.
Thank you so
Alize,
much. Yeah.
Alize, if I may integrate a bit what Malcolm just explained, and also to answer to Hutan and to Roger, every year we send out a call for nomination to all our ANFs, which means, and our national members as well, which are our, so to say, our eyes and ears in the different countries. So the first selection is made by them. Okay, so then they present their nominations. I collect them and then I share them with the jury, and then the jury meets usually in June, somewhere in Paris or in Turin, depending from the year, and this is when the discussion happens. So to answer to what was your question, Utan, all countries are part of the game, the big ones and the small ones, all on an equal level, and everybody has a chance. So, and what I think it's interesting in this process is that you have a very big personalities, very well-known personalities, and very not small but big small local heroes. So, and they are all together.
I should add to that of the fact that Gian Mario is the backbone, not just of FIVA, but also of the Hall of Fame systems and everything else in terms of really, I think the whole process has been beautifully worked out, and it it just falls into place. And Gian Mario is the one who has spearheaded that and done an excellent job of managing it every year without fail.
Thank you, Gautam. And is it Gautam, you have and Gautam or Mayo, I don't know, but every year do you receive from all the regions an application or no today? If you send over, I don't know how many emails you send, but how many you receive replied to this, basically.
And basically, there's a general email, email that's sent out to all members of FIVA in terms of members who are, the clubs, the ANFs, as well as individuals. So that goes out as a start of the process, and that probably Gian Mario needs to repeat it another 2 times at the most. But the nomination comes from the different countries after that. So that the number of nominations have always been well above 30. And it varies, of course, from year to year. And that comes from them. And the fact of the matter remains is that, of course, there is a bit of interaction. There are enough number of times where members want to come back and ask, look, we have this person in mind. This is what he or she has done. Do you think that person would make a good candidate or not? So there are these back and forth a bit. Sometimes, some cases, the country just go ahead and send in the applications. So it's let's say a process by which we are We are kind of interacting with the members without at all influencing or suggesting anything, because idea is to keep maintaining the neutrality at every point. Sadly, neither does Gian Mario nor me nor Ramin have the slightest say on the decisions, which are obviously by the jury. Clearly, the jury on their own decide, and they debate and discuss for the final list that's put together. Gian Mario, have I covered everything, or do you think there's something else?
No, I think you said very much, and of course, I mean, every year we have different countries taking part in this challenge.
Okay, thank you. Anyone has something to ask or add, remark, maybe?
My opinion was about the countries that there is no ANF there. How information we collect from those countries. There are some countries that there is no ANF or no connection, but there are people there working on classic cars, classic automobiles, and big works. What we can do about those people?
Well, it's a work in progress, of course. So the ANFs are best positioned. But we have also had in the history of this initiative vicarious nominations. So people can, for instance, from one country can nominate a person they deem important from another country. That's as far as it goes. And then, of course, the Hall of Fame is a work in progress. So
yes.
Thank you for your question. And I don't know who else would like to comment or add something. Maybe after all these remarks, Patrick Rollet, would you like to maybe give us a retrospective in a way? You know, you have seen the evolution of the concept from the beginning until today. Did you see a difference? Do you see that the countries are interacting more now? Did you see an evolution in this concept yourself? Because you were there at the beginning with Gotham. Your mic is off.
Yeah, maybe to say something. I see a good development actually. We have talked about indeed these so-called unsung heroes, but indeed we have had quite some examples of people that indeed are completely unknown in the rest of the world, but indeed have been given this award. So I think we already have done a good job on that. And the other aspect that has been addressed also by Patrick is that indeed the Heritage Hall of Fame Award also is an opportunity for the ANF that is nominating somebody to get some more attention, some more publicity in their own country, in the case indeed their candidate gets this award. And then of course it's also about the award presentation, the celebration, whatever you call it, to present that award. I think that's indeed a good opportunity as well to promote the historic vehicle movement as such in that in such a country. So,
Alice,
yeah.
Alice, maybe I can say something from Chile.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, we are very greatly surprised here because, as you know, some museum here, that is the Moncopuyi Museum in Chile, in south for Chile, 1,000 kilometers in south from Chile, have gained this recognition, you know, as the last time. And we were very surprised, you know, in one corner of this country, you know, a little museum, we can say something special because, for example, they have the best, the large Studebaker collection, you know, in the country here and outside of all of USA. That means it's an important museum, but in terms of cars, quantity cars, maybe it's not the case because they have almost, I think, in this moment, 200 cars, classic old cars, but was very special from in Chile. The press is talking about that. In our clubs, I'm part of one club here in the north of Chile. We are greatly surprised with that because sometimes, like we mentioned, some colleagues, some people before here in this meeting, it's not easy, to go to see some people in these countries, in a corner of the world, and was the case here in Chile, and we were very surprised, how you are doing this great job, to catch these people, in these little cities of some countries outside of the Europe continent or the USA, and was something we appreciated too much, to see. Yeah, you are searching across the world. That's something I like to put it, on the table to say that really shows the great job what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for commenting, and congratulations to your country for this prize.
Thank you. Thank you, Alisa. Bernardo, the person, the Bernardo Eggers is an old person, have dedicated all of his life, to this project. And yeah, I think he's so happy with that this something have surprised him, and his family. And in the Osorno city, a little city, everybody is talking about this issue, and this was I think, the second national museum. That means they will, the next, I think, 19 or something in November, they will celebrate this is 30 years, of this huge project. Yeah, this is something very special for this family, for this city, and everybody, is so happy with this prize. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. There is almost we are almost 5 minutes left from the end of the session. So maybe Ramin, if you can pop up and maybe wrap up the session. I know your voice is a bit broken, but maybe you have some.
Yes. So thank you for bearing with me. As I mentioned, I'm on the verge of losing my voice. So hopefully I'll last these 5 minutes before I lose it totally. First of all, I believe, one of the most interesting points that came up, and I think we realize is probably one of the reasons for success of the Heritage Hall of Fame is indeed its geographic diversity. And I would say that with the wonderful work that Gabriela, the Vice President for Membership, is doing, we have countries joining FIVA from the African continent, from the Far East. We had Philippines and Korea join us. And I think as the Heritage Hall of Fame continues to grow and expand, we will be receiving an increasingly diverse number of candidates coming from these countries, many of them having nascent or growing automotive cultures and backgrounds and histories. So I'm very excited because my good friend Hutan mentioned the fact that maybe there are countries that don't have ANFs, but the way the wonderful work that Gabriel is doing, I think will be in the years to come, we'll be receiving very, very interesting and diverse nominations coming. And I'm very excited about the future on this. Especially, we have countries, such as Korea, which has a automotive industry that goes back 50 years. It's celebrating its heritage. And there are a lot of people who are active in building up the Korean automotive industry and in protecting and preserving its heritage. So having said that, I think the best way to wrap up the meeting is that I think we have a great future for this program awaiting us. I think we have lots of new, diverse, geographically diverse applications coming in. And really, I'm really excited for the future of this program, especially that it's growing in more and more international recognition. So I would like to, as the final word, to take this opportunity to once again thank Gautam for the wonderful work that he's done and that it has. Patrick for being part of the jury and supporting this. Our colleagues like Malcolm, who have joined us, but are giving a lot of new energy to this process. But also to Alize, Jean-Mario, and the whole team, and Tito, who supported this project greatly. All of them for developing this and working hard. I know how much time Jean Mario puts into this, how much Aliza has put into this. So again, I think it would be best to wrap up the session with a big thank you to everybody who's made this project such a success. And I see Gautam is raising his hand, so I will hand it over. Maybe he wants to get into the last word.
No, not exactly. It's just that Roger Beatty from Australia asked about whether there are a set of guidelines for nomination to the Heritage Hall of Fame. Just want to clarify that, yes, there are very clear guidelines. Maybe what we could do is if we have your email addresses, whoever else may want to send in the email addresses on the chat or wherever, if you could do that, I think Gian Mario can forward those guidelines to all of you
Sure,
for
Roger.
your future reference.
I'll make a note of that. I send it to you on Monday. All right.
Great. Thank you.
May
I
say-
believe
Mhm.
Tito wants to say a word too, please.
Yeah, Gautam, you're finished. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. I just want to note also the presence of an other Heritage Hall of Fame hero. That's Carlos Scoseria. So I just want to recognize his presence from Uruguay. Hello, Carlos. But that also reminds me of the aspect that the Heritage Hall of Fame is not only there to make FIVA better known, but it's in first place, of course, there are 200 people that deserve this award, and I have the personal experience that, presenting this award, it is really sometimes very emotional affair, and people really like it, and I think that's most important, that the people to whom we present this award in general are really touched by getting it, and I think that's really also something we have to note. I just remember as well the presentation of the award in a very small group of people to Mr. Paul Breck in Bordeaux last year. So I think that was a really touching occasion. So I think that's, as far as I'm concerned, the last word, that it's really about the people that are behind this and that deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tito.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think we can officially end the meeting.
Yes, it's time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Nice weekend. And thank you for organizing
Thank
this.
you, everybody. Thank you for taking part.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank
Good,
you.
summer.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
organizing. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.